best start to your day. It's 96 degrees of heat in the studios of News Talk 93 FM every Tuesday to Friday, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Join our star lineup of Hugh Dowse, Auret Montague, Dr. Donna Hope, and Mikhail Drama Johns as they take us through 2 hours of current affairs, updates, and thought-provoking hot topic discussions that are bound to stimulate your mind. Can you handle the heat? 96 degrees on News Talk 93 FM. Real news, real talk, heard everywhere.
News Talk 93 FM. Real news. Real talk. Heard everywhere.
Keep calm. No anger. We're only talking ganja.
Mind penetration.
Expanding your mind. We're talking ganja.
Much more than just smoking. Illuminating your chakras. Body and soul food. Ganja Talk.
Science, farming, commerce, applications of this miracle plant. Ganja Talk.
Incoming in natty dreadlocks, case down the comfort talk about the herb man juggling and herb man smuggling. Lord of mercy, natural life. I don't know, say everybody healing of the nation and it there from creation. I love it with no hesitation. Hear me now. 10 pound of weed in our chariot. And yes, a straight from west we are carry that. And when it's sealed up tight, you can't smell that. And yes, a straight down a town we are sell that. Overseas, no boy I try send that. As them get a visa, them get deport and send back. Oh gosh, a long time them a lock up natty dreadlock. Them no want to legalize the herb, time for end that. Marijuana, we love with marijuana. Marijuana, we love with marijuana. Marijuana, we love with marijuana. Said the old west who love marijuana. Kingston, high grade marijuana. Westmoreland, original marijuana. New York, Brooklyn, marijuana. Said the old west who love marijuana. Well, who them fi come fight down the natural cali? Me no want them alcohol that mix up in them laboratory. Me no want them drugs that mix up in them lab chemically. Me want the high grade that good for me spiritually. And all the doctor them a say it good medically. Before them utilize the air fi boost them economy. Police a brutalize the youths and beat them physically. We need to realize that this plan good for everybody. And now the doctor them a prove it scientifically. A time to legalize the herb in every hill and valley. I said the herb are the healing of the nation. And the day from the start of creation. Marijuana, we love it, marijuana. Marijuana, we love it, marijuana. Marijuana, we love it, marijuana. Said the old west who love marijuana. Amsterdam said them love marijuana. Colorado said them love marijuana. California said them love marijuana. Said the old west who love marijuana. 10 pound of weed in our chariot. And yes, a straight from west we a carry that. And when it's sealed up tight, you can't smell that. And yes, a straight down a town, Ganja Talk, I carry that. I don't know, say this case I'm representing for Ganja Talk, yeah? My gosh.
Ganja Talk. I greet you in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I and Empress Menin. This is Jalani Naya with you once more on Ganja Talk, 93 News Talk FM. We're coming to you from Mona, not the West tonight, not where the highest grades in Jamaica come from, but from Kingston, under the foothills of the Blue Mountain at the Mona campus. Bringing you Ganja Talk, giving thanks for this forum to bring you God's gift to creation, the herb, the healing of the nation. We give thanks for the showers of blessings that we've received once more. It seems as though April has come with bounty that we've not seen in a little while. We give thanks for those showers, good for the growth of the earth and the grass that we so celebrate. We give thanks to all of those of you who are listening and who join us weekly, our fourth program now, to really look into this herb seriously, to begin a discussion as to how we're going to move forward with this new environment that seeks to make legal or less criminal a product, a herb, a plant that we know as an important source of life, medicine, the healing of the nation within Rastafari. This program this week once more focuses on the movement of Rastafari. We would like to consider Rastafari as the custodian, the guardian, the gatekeeper of the herb, the ones who have defended its reintroduction into our space at this time, and therefore the ones who rightfully should be understood or overstood, as we would say, as far as the philosophies connected to this product. This focus on Rastafari comes at a time that we also look forward to the celebration of the visit of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie to the region, 50 years now. So as we come into this strong, as we would say, April 18th, we look forward to the commemorative ritual that honors that Pan-African solidarity moment brought by His Majesty and his entourage when he arrived first in Barbados just for a few hours, then flying on to Trinidad where he remained for a few days, then to Jamaica and then Haiti, completing a loop in the Caribbean that is very significant to all of us here. Barbados at that time was still a colony, and its premier urged His Majesty as bringing tidings of freedom. Barbados, shortly thereafter, that same year, was to become independent. Trinidad, on the other hand, had been more advanced, had already independence, like Jamaica, by 1962. And her Prime Minister, Eric Williams, had the insights to travel across Africa, including Ethiopia, and gesture to His Majesty to come to the Caribbean where ones regarded him highly. So Trinidad is somewhat of the genesis of this moment. We have to give thanks to the insights of that great intellectual giant from the Eastern Caribbean, Southern Caribbean, Eric Williams. Appended to Trinidad was the Jamaica trip, where town and gown, as some describe it, gathered to give His Majesty his honorary doctorate here at the University of the West Indies, while citing him as among the noble, living and dead, but ones whose company the university could only but endear. His Majesty was given our highest degree here in an extraordinary session of the university to provide this graduate with the highest state protocol, the highest state accolade, honoring his works globally by giving him the degree of Doctorate of Laws. His Majesty leaves Jamaica and then visits Haiti with its long tradition of independence, having been among the earliest in the region to achieve this. And that seals up his Pan-African solidarity. So tonight, our fourth episode of Ganja Talk, we still move forward into exploration of Rastafari as we celebrate the visit of His Majesty. So stay tuned. We have a program which is action-packed and full of features. Ganja Talk with you, Jalani Naya.
Can sing to represent you. Jamaica wouldn't use without the marijuana. People previous and every ganja farm. Jamaica wouldn't use without the marijuana. So the people previous and every ganja farm. Smoking paradise. Smoking weed is life. Smoking paradise. God is smoking every day and night. Smoking paradise. Smoking weed is life. Smoking paradise. God is smoking every day and night. So give me one pack of whistle and a light a day. $1,000 for a piece of alcohol. Smoke me, I go smoke up right away. To all me smoke, and them say me smoke me life away. Oh, listen to me, kill you and my wife, I say. Look how them smoke, them can't reach them heights yet. Cause me smoke till me bleeding eyes a shit. And I straight marijuana, crack the cigar. off. With the highest grades, fuck up the place I run off. So me smoke from daylight till it go dark. Chalice rise, smoking just start. Weed a cut up like when Taylor cut cloth. With the lava red rose and puff your musk off. So me smoke and get high and fly first class. In a smoking paradise, smoking weed is life. Smoking paradise, gotta smoke it every day and night. Smoking paradise, smoking weed is life. Smoking paradise, gotta smoke it every day and night. To me deal with them, say me a suicide. If I no chalice, in a spliff is either rider. Them think them stop this, not show them arrest the driver. But when they come to weed, me skiller than my valve. So it's still a circulate, move on every corner. Jamaica wouldn't mess without the marijuana. So I go for every use and every ganja farm. We bring the food for my brain, yes, and my mind calm. A straight high grade, me inhale and exhale. Puff it up, right down to the spliff tail. A bush weed, you sell me, you no get an exhale. Brother say they grab a two up anytime he get killed. We da bust up in a head like we nah am a big nail. Smoke and fly, you want see you smooth me a sail. It's a ganja party, sufficient weed we share. So anyway you see the cloud a smoke in the air. Jamaica wouldn't mess without the marijuana. People previous and every ganja farm. Jamaica wouldn't mess without the marijuana. So many people previous and every ganja farm. Jamaica wouldn't mess without the marijuana.
It's no coincidence that ganja legalization support has surged with the growth of social media. The voices of the reefer madness era are silenced daily as studies and testimonials continue pouring in about this often misunderstood plant. Ignorance still remains, however, and this fight won't be won without continued education of the masses. It takes one fact that hits home to sway someone's opinion. Maybe Ganja Talk will provide you with the facts to shine a better, brighter light on ganja in your eyes.
And this is justice again. With another ganja tune for the people, then we don't know. Take a listen, you know. Like and share, you know. I say zugu zugu zeng. I say zugu zugu zeng. I say zugu zugu. I say zugu zugu. And this is justice again. Coming out the lion's den. From everyone when we come defend. So all the ganja people, them, wash up your hands, them, and shout out, hey, oh. Shout, hey, oh. I'm a be a cannabis smoke alone where you are joke. I'm a be a cannabis smoke alone where you are. And let me hear you shout, whoa, yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
Shout, whoa, yeah. I'm you not take no crack and cocaine, no day. I'm you not take no crack and cocaine, no day. So well, marijuana, it never do. Nobody no amnesty. Like the place them having them hospital and them pharmacy. Some marijuana no we never kill nobody yet like them. Alcohol and them dirty cigarette. Them a sell up in a them shop and them supermarket. Tell me them want arrest and get gunshot in a chest just see. Smoking and selling the high grade just see. Shipping and planting the high grade just. So all the ganja man and ganja woman I'm out there. And me no say marijuana it is good and it is safe. Even for the little babies and the elders in the places. Flash up all the light in the air and shout out, hey, oh. Shout, hey, oh. I'm a be a cannabis smoke alone where you are joke. I'm a be a cannabis smoke alone where you are. And let me hear you shout, whoa, yeah. Shout, whoa, yeah. I'm you not take no crack and cocaine, no day. I'm you not take no crack and cocaine, no day. So well, Babylon pan cannabis and be a lie. Them a tell boy if you smoke it, it will kill out your brain cell. But my people, the fact and the truth is, marijuana it have many uses. And for millions of years before Babylon exists, people all over the world they that use cannabis to do a kind of natural and spiritual thing like curing disease and meditating. So all the ganja man and ganja woman in the land, and me no say marijuana it is good for everyone. Just roll up a big split and nutty Babylon and light it and put up on the one and shout out, hey, oh. Shout, hey, oh. I'm a be a cannabis smoke alone where you are joke. I'm a be a cannabis smoke alone where you are. And let me hear you shout, whoa, yeah. Shout, whoa, yeah. I'm you not take no crack and cocaine, no. I'm you not take no crack and cocaine, no day. They don't know say we not take no crack and cocaine and I smoke no cigarette. Fire!
Tonight's Ganja Energy deals with willpower. While the previous Ganja Energy sought pleasure and enjoyment, This ganja energy is all about the perception of who you are. The gift of this ganja energy is sensing your personal power, being confident, responsible, and reliable. This ganja energy is centered around your self-esteem, your willpower, self-discipline, as well as warmth in your personality. The energy of ganja allows you to transform inertia into action and movement. It allows you to meet challenges and move forward in your life. The main challenge for this particular ganja energy is to use your personal power in a balanced manner. What does that mean? It means consciously harnessing the energy of ganja to be proactive rather than reactive or inactive. Do something productive with your high.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa, for that. Do something productive with your high. I want to big up the ones who are listening out there. Dapper HQ, Charles Street, June Block, Manningsville Road, Bull Bay, Yallas. All the ones who are part of our most immediate family, and by extension our friends and ones who are well-wishers. We give thanks for the words that you've brought. We give thanks to ones in the studio. Simba is here with us again. He's winding down, penultimate week, so to speak. Couldn't have got here without him, so you know, we don't know where to manage. In fact, Barbados, watch it tonight, I might have to send him things forward more substantially. Yeah, Simba is here with us as usual. Melissa, Tony, and this week we have with us someone who you'll be hearing a little more from when we look at community, but community this time at the international level. Ras Bingi Glenn Porter from the Tron Global Platform. We want to thank Justice again, you know, involving the youths in a very thought-provoking celebration of herb over drugs. And, you know, for us, drugs is not herb, and that's something we should strive hard to bring a distinction about. Even in our existing law, the laws are dangerous drugs, and we know herb not as drugs in the way that crack and cocaine and them things are clear drugs. We want to also hail up the ones who have been providing feedback on our WhatsApp group and Facebook. Remember that those platforms exist. We have Dapper shirts too, so you can consciously be a part of the Ganja Talk family network by sending us your requests for those, and we will let you know how you can receive them. This week's program is no less diverse than those we have brought to you. In the past, we have looked at Jamaica, India, Trinidad and Tobago, Malawi, Haiti, aspects of Africa, Barbados, even Tibet. This week, we keep it regional, and we want to hail up Krem and those in Barbados for keeping us linked all the way out there in the Western Caribbean. This week, our focus brings us to St. Vincent, which many of you might know is the only rock in the Caribbean that can give Jamaica a run in any significant way. Big regional contribution to this important industry with some real expert growers. This week, we link up with our correspondents there to get a sense of what's happening on that side of the world. We return to our regular aspects. We're looking at background information on herb as it comes to you via our next clip.
Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in due season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. Distinguished members of the Jamaican Parliament, I am glad to get this opportunity of conveying some thoughts to the Jamaican Parliament and people. The people of Jamaica have a long, glorious history. The Jamaican people have struggled to attain their independence, and since independence, the Jamaican people, in an exemplary national unity, have gone on, thus bringing further abundance and progress to themselves. Because I know of the history of these wonderful people, and because I know of the sentiments the people of Jamaica entertain for the Ethiopian people, I have always wished to come and visit Jamaica. Now, thank God, this wish of mine has been fulfilled. Our relations with the Jamaican people, as I have said already, is not one of present origin. At a time when the Ethiopian people bore aggression, harsh aggression, the people of Jamaica showed their concern and sympathy to the Ethiopian people, and have in this way provided us with encouragement regarding which the Ethiopian people shall be forever grateful. The words of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Emperor of Ethiopia.
long before the dawning. I hope you are prepared. The bongo man is here. The bongo man has
Mother against father, sisters against brother, police against soldier, oh what a earthquake, lightning, thunder, blood and fire, nation against nation. When it comes to I and I, liberty as Rastafari, I and I, like I shop and a lot of I and I really don't cook food, you know. Over 40 years, you know, we just live by the earth and try to eat more wild food.
Even the greens you don't cook?
No, man, we don't cook nothing at all. Nothing. We bun politician and bun politician food. We don't need them food. Because you can't, a Costco and the pan cow back, you know, and we kick you off. So when we burn Babylon, you know, and nothing from them can't feed we. You understand? But they must say, well, boy, yes, you cuss the politician every day, you cuss Portia Simpson, you cuss Andrew Wallace, but anything them put on the shop and in the shelf, you run, go eat it. To me, those people are good people because if them really, you cost them and them really feed you and them no poison you, you are good people.
Expanding your mind. We're talking ganja.
Body and soul food. Ganja Talk.
Yes, talking ganja on Ganja Talk. Food security. Give thanks, Profi, for that. We're going to a break and we'll be right back.
News Talk 93 FM. Real news. Real talk. Heard everywhere.
The Students' Loan Bureau gives thousands of Jamaicans the opportunity to improve their lives. Now through an SLB Pays loan, parents, guardians, relatives, friends and employers can borrow up to $680,000 to assist tertiary students on their journey. For more information on SLB Pays and other loan products, visit our website at slbja.com or call us at 936-4416. The Students' Loan Bureau, financing higher education.
It's 96 degrees of heat in the studios of News Talk 93 FM every Tuesday to Friday, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Join our star lineup of Hugh Dowse, Auret Montague, Dr. Donna Hope, and Mikhail Drama Johns as they take us through 2 hours of current affairs, updates, and thought-provoking hot topic discussions that are bound to stimulate your mind. Can you handle the heat? 96 degrees on News Talk 93 FM. Real news, real talk, heard everywhere.
This is News Talk 93 FM, broadcasting from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. News Talk 93 FM, real news, real talk, heard everywhere.
Yes, you're listening to Ganja Talk. I want to hail up the ones that Me Hungry, Wholesome Food, Profai's statements, brought us right back to that principle that the ones at Me Hungry have been carrying for a while, which is what they call raw food. Not raw food, but food which is sun-fired. No sugar, no gluten, no wheat, just raw food, food of the gods. Good tradition that they've brought and, feeding the nation rightfully and educating the nation at the same time. I want to hail up the Rastafari family in general at this time. Nyabingi family particularly, Bobo family as well, 12 Tribes family, all the family coming together at this time for the visit of His Majesty. Hail to Queen Mother Moses. I realize that you have come in and you're making that central input that you're so capable of doing. Hail up to the ones meeting, finalizing plans for this very, very important 50th celebration, what we would call a Golden Jubilee. Mother Moses made a suggestion, and I think the suggestion is one that, especially at this time, we can all take on board. Why don't we all plant ganja trees on Earth Day, Friday the 22nd of April? How about that? Legally allowed 5 plants. Give it a try. Start to prepare your pots. Change the earth with this concept, 5 of us each planting 5 trees. Think about the ozone. Enough oxygen that's in, and it's the right kind of environmentally friendly product. We want to, at this point in time, share with you activities for the commemoration of the events related to the 50th anniversary of the visit of His Majesty to the region. Some of those activities have already started, as you know. Variously, ones have been arriving. Hail up to Shango Bako and the British crew who arrived sometime last week, giving their valid input by way of the exhibition His Majesty and the Movement, which opened last Friday at the Montego Bay Civic Centre. So in a sense, our solid UK family helped us to get the ball rolling with this very useful exhibition that I'd really recommend to all ones, especially those in the west of the island, giving great details of His Majesty while he was at Bath in the UK. Those years between the exile and the return to Ethiopia. Wonderfully vivid and well annotated, descriptive writing and photographs of His Majesty's time there at Bath. Wednesday, which is fast approaching, there's the lighting of the fire key, and this is Wednesday, April 20 at Scott's Pass, Nyabingi Centre. Thursday, that is going to be the high point, in a sense, the day of the arrival of His Majesty, in principle, 50 years ago. This time we have Prince Ermias Shale Selassie as our special guest. He will be arriving on Thursday, and it is the intention to see most of the community from the Nyabing in particular, where there's a tradition of a reenactment through a motorcade, participating in that motorcade. So there's a gathering at the Norman Manley International Airport about 10 o'clock on Thursday morning in anticipation of the arrival of His Majesty's grandson at 11 a.m. And then a motorcade leaving from the airport at around noon, making stops along the way at Heroes Park, Micah College, Jamaica College, UTEC, etc. But those details will be more apparent to those participating in the motorcade and further through media, where people can come out and see the motorcade. 4 to 7 p.m. at the university on that same day, April 21st, there is a rally, and that will feature testimonies. 4 to 7 p.m. rather, there's a rally at the university on the same 21st, featuring testimony, speeches, and presentations. As you know, ones who were a part of that moment will be present to share first-hand insights as to the kinds of inspiration, insights, and energy, that was very much apparent on that day. Magical things happened. I remember Ruggles, an ancient who has now passed, saying that his blind mother or grandmother, I think it was, asked him if he saw the little man, meaning His Majesty, upon his arrival. So Ruggles naturally asked her, well, how do you know he's a little man? And the blind grandmother said, he revealed himself. I saw him. So even the blind saw him, is what the accounts of His Majesty's visit provides. And there are many such testimonies that ones will be able to share and hear on that day, 21st, at the rally, 4 to 7 p.m. at the university ruins. 9 p.m., 12 Tribes of Israel has its general usual celebration of the day itself, for those who wish to participate in that. Then on the 22nd, which is Friday, there is a civic ceremony at the Haile Selassie Secondary School. And at this civic ceremony, we're expecting the mayor to present to His Majesty's grandson a special honor for the city of Kingston, along with other presentations at that school. So ones already know that the Haile Selassie Secondary School is that institution that His Majesty afforded us by leaving funding for the development of that and breaking ground while he was here. That same evening, on Friday the 22nd, there is the inaugural Haile Selassie lecture at the University of the West Indies, 6 to 8 p.m. And this takes place, I think it is the Undercroft. I can check on that and give the details. But that lecture is going to be inaugurated by His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias. There's also expected at 8:15 on Friday the opening of a special exhibition on the visit of His Imperial Majesty to Jamaica. Now, for 4 days and for weeks after the visit, newspaper images, accounts, and stories lingered in the Jamaican press. To date, His Majesty's visit is perhaps one of the most colorfully littering the then Gleaner, which was the chief medium. Many of those pictures are now famous. There's one with Lulu, who, headline tells us, seems to have escaped customs or immigration. Lulu is His Majesty's dog, for those of you who know the Chihuahua. But even Lulu makes the paper with great excitement. So some of the various representations of the visit are going to be on display by way of a photographic exhibition at the regional headquarters at the University of the West Indies. On Saturday, on Sunday, in Montego, on Saturday, I was right, in Montego Bay, there is a function that the details of which I am not too clear of, but I know that there is a ceremony expected to happen in Montego Bay on Saturday. And then on Sunday, His Majesty's grandson is expected to go to church at Maxfield, and then depart for a meeting and general reception that is going to be in Sam Sharp Square in Montego Bay. As the program goes on, we'll give you some more information, but this week or this strong, as we prefer to say, for the Rastafari community is full of incoming as the international family comes in to share with us important celebratory aspects of an important Pan-African solidarity moment. And as you can see, we have a full program which takes us from one side of the island to the next side of the island. So those of you out there, we hope that you participate as it passes your neck of the woods. Ganja Talk on 93 News Talk FM.
You think I saw? Anna saw. Tenastilin. Dana Ixabier Yimasgan. Sata Amasagana.
This is it. Originally. Thou shalt not steal, said the Almighty. The King of Kings is here, who rules eternally.
Honor and majesty is before him. A false witness shall not be unpunished, saith the Lord.
To eat from thine own vineyard is sweet to the soul.
But to steal from thy brethren is bitter to the belly.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is.
Ganja principles. The greatest sin, fear. The best day, today. The biggest fool, the boy who will not go to school. The greatest deceiver is one who deceives themselves. The greatest invention of the devil, war. The greatest secret of production, saving waste. The best work, what you like. The best play, work. The greatest comfort, the knowledge you have done your work well. Ganja fact.
Haile Selassie was born in a round mud and wood hut near the ancient walled city of Hara in 1892, when Ethiopia was still known as the Abyssinian Empire. Named Tafari Makonnen, he was the 10th child born to Ras Makonnen, a prince, otherwise known as Ras, and governor of the Hara province, and his wife, Yeshimabet Ali. He was the only one of their 11 children to survive through to adulthood.
Ganja fact.
Ganja Talk is a radio forum for public education and dialogue about the ganja plant and its related industry. The program aims to facilitate national, regional, and international information exchange, exploring the cultures surrounding ganja, the decriminalization experience, and the varied uses and applications of this herb. Get involved in the dialogue. Follow on Facebook on the page Ganja Talk. Email ganjatalkblog@gmail.com or text 478-8976.
Ganja Talk. Make your radio turn television with telepathic communication. Live and direct on Ganja Talk.
The African Heritage Foundation is a collective of people that consists of Rastafari, experienced cultural practitioners, Pan-Africanists, community development activists, and other interested parties. This collective promotes economic empowerment, in collaboration with the advancements of greater social development, education, and awareness of African consciousness. Where possible, the HF will assist in selected areas of social relief and will function as a support system for up-and-coming African cultural businesses and organizations. The Foundation aims to collaborate and develop working relationships with other collectives that have similar mandates. Ganja Talk is one such collaboration.
Keep calm, no anger. We're only talking ganja.
The program is Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM.
Ganja Talk.
Yeah, we give thanks for Leah. Give thanks for that. We want to hail up two of our dapper brethren, Al and Hugh. I suspect they might be listening online presently in Montana on their internship, beekeeping internship, made possible through the DAPA, which is Decriminalization, Herb Advocacy and Public Awareness Project. We want to hail up the ones listening at the DAPA HQ, brethren them gathered, and looking forward to seeing a sermon and not hearing one. The ones who overs that statement know what I mean. But yeah, moving forward with important social dialogue, and most importantly, not just national Jamaican advocacy, but regional advocacy. We're advocating that the ones, our sisters and brothers across the region, lend a helping hand and point to the direction of the Jamaican legislations as a start for a regional liberation conversation. St. Vincent, as we say, is our sister competitor. Good grades coming from St. Vincent. I know the ones in that section of the world are happy that St. Vincent is able to consistently do that, which it does. Give thanks, Candice, for your great work in helping us to concretize that feature, which will come up shortly. All the social media, big up on yourself and continue tuning in to Ganja Talk on News Talk 93 FM.
In terms of lamb's bread, it is said that there is no such strain, but there is a old time, if you want to call it that, pure sativa, and it's maybe not pure, maybe it had some like a mix up in it, but there is one that I know about and I'm sure about, and it is almost identical to sativas that come from the south of India, and I and my team here have one growing currently, a male and a female of this South Indian sativa, and we have a male and a female out of some seeds from the USA, landrace seeds coming from Blue Mountains that have been preserved since probably around 1976, 1977. And we've been able to isolate one male and one female that are identical to the male and the female from the South Indian sativa. So considering the history of Jamaica and the indentureship system, in 1845 we know that the English brought in Chinese and Indian indentured laborers. We're going to find that the Indians would have brought with them this holy herb, which is one of the reasons why Rastas have locks, because the Sadhu monks grew their jata, as they call it, to honor the god Shiva, who taught them how to use herb, as they say. So we're doing the strain research, we're doing the work, we just need some support. If there's a seed bank, then we're ready to support it, don't know anything at all that we can do. So anybody want to support, anybody want to help in any which way, shape or form, anybody want, to get something progressive done, we're here and we can help.
From the sites where prehistoric hunters and gatherers lived, to ancient China and Viking ships, ganja has been used across the world over for ages. For the most part, ganja was widely used for medicine and spiritual purposes during pre-modern times. For example, the Vikings and medieval Germans used cannabis for relieving pain during childbirth and for toothaches. The idea that this is an evil drug is a very recent construction, and the fact that it is illegal is a historical anomaly. Marijuana has been legal in many regions of the world for most of its history. Cannabis plants are believed to have evolved on the steppes of Central Asia, specifically in the regions that are now Mongolia and southern Siberia. The history of cannabis goes back as far as 12,000 years, which places the plant amongst humanity's oldest cultivated crops, according to the sources such as Marijuana, the first 12,000 years, by Springer in 1980. It likely flourished in the nutrient-rich dump sites of prehistoric hunters and gatherers. Burned cannabis seeds have also been found in Kurgan burial mounds in Siberia dating back to 3000 BC, and some of the tombs of the noble people buried in the Xinjiang region of China and Siberia about 2500 BC have included large quantities of mummified psychoactive marijuana. Both hemp and psychoactive marijuana have widely been used in ancient China. The first record of the drug's medicinal use dates to 4000 BC. The herb was used, for instance, as an anesthetic during surgery, and stories say it was even used by the Chinese Emperor Shennong in 2737 BC. From China, coastal farmers brought ganja to Korea about 2000 BC, according to the book The Archaeology of Korea, Cambridge University Press, 1993. Cannabis came to the South Asian subcontinent between 2000 and 1000 BC, when the region was invaded by the Aryans, a group that spoke an archaic Indo-European language. Ganja became widely used in India. In one of the ancient Sanskrit Vedic poems, whose name translates to Science of Charms, ganja is celebrated as one of the 5 kingdoms of herbs, which releases us from anxiety.
Did you ever meet that reefer man?
No, I never met the guy. Tell me about it.
Oh, no, you're not kidding me now, are you? You never met the reefer man? Oh, no, you never met the reefer man? And yet you say you swim to China and you wanted to sell me South Carolina? I believe you know the reefer man. Did you ever meet the funny reefer man? You never met the funny reefer man? And yet you say you walk the ocean anytime you take a notion? Yeah, I believe you've seen the reefer man. Ever met that funny reefer man? Have you ever met that funny reefer man? Oh, he trades your dimes for nickels and he calls watermelon pickles. Yeah, I'm talking about the reefer man. You ever meet that little old reefer man? Did you ever meet that little old reefer man? If he takes a sudden mania and he wants to give you Pennsylvania, I'm still talking about the reefer man. Have you ever met that little old reefer man? Ever met that funny little reefer man? If he sells Wall Street, is frantic, and because he won't sell on the Atlantic. Oh, that's that reefer man. With the reefer man.
This is true, we lick Babylon, we don't want nothing from them. What I want to tell the rest of them is stay out of Babylon shop. Everything with them have out, they have them poison in it. Pipe water, dangerous. That's one of our biggest enemy. The chicken them when them a eat, they are not chicken anymore, they are chicken. Our chicken take 1 year to grow and grow. Them chicken they take 1 month. So all the children them start to grow breast before time. Everybody start look old before time, you know?
Ganja fact.
When Tafari was 18 months old, his mother died giving birth to one of his siblings. Young Tafari grew up with a sound education in Abyssinian and Coptic traditions, and he was tutored in European thought and ideas by Father André Jasserou, a French missionary priest. Such exposure to foreign ways and thinking was extremely rare for an African son. Tafari proved to be a model student, intelligent, hardworking, with an excellent memory and attention to the smallest detail, capacities that would serve him well throughout his life.
Ganja fact.
Yes, Ganja time. We're coming up with our news feature. Ganja, as we know, is the preferred term we use on this program, even though it is a plant with many names. We try and avoid the weed one, you know, because weed is so many weeds. If you're going to call it a weed, call it the herb, you know, which is a specific weed. And then we're talking dagga as an older name, and we're hearing about reefer much in this program. Reefer is how they go with it in the States. Ganja News is coming up now. Remember, we have a feature on international community in this edition of our news.
Ganja fact.
Ganja time, ganja time, ganja time. Ganja time, ganja time, ganja time. Ganja time, ganja time, ganja time.
Hollywood actor Woody Harrelson is high on Hawaii. He is one of the applicants to apply to open a medical marijuana dispensary in the state. The state will review applications and award them to 8 applicants this month, about a year after the Hawaii legislature passed a bill allowing dispensaries to open. Medical marijuana has been legal in the state for more than 15 years, but there has never been a way for patients to obtain it legally. If selected, the Cheers and Hunger Games star will be able to open 2 production centers and 2 retail dispensaries, according to the Associated Press. Harrelson could also be up for some significant tax breaks using a loophole in the law. He could set up an enterprise zone, which is used to reward employers who set up in economically depressed areas. But for now, Harrelson appears to be in it for the weed rights. He's an outspoken advocate of marijuana and hemp. He has even narrated a documentary called Grass.
I took a split this morning off the international. My brethren, I love it and I love it, man. The international. The span of my life is not above it, man. The international.
While some advocates of the drug policy reform movement have made it their lifelong mission to convince the population that legalizing the leaf is the only way to end the racial disparity that exists in relation to marijuana-related arrests, a recent study shows that legalization has no bearing on the racial imbalance. African Americans are still getting busted more than whites for marijuana in states that have made it legal. In a comparative analysis of the arrest rates before and after Colorado and Washington legalized recreational marijuana, researchers found that while arrests for pot have dropped off significantly in those states, but blacks still remain a hard target for violating state marijuana laws. The statistics uncovered by Mike Males of the Center on Juvenile and Criminal Justice indicate that nothing much has changed since the 2 states implemented policies to make pot legal. The arrest rates for blacks continues to be more than double that of their white counterparts. I'm surprised and disappointed by this, males told the Washington Post. The forces that contribute to racial disparities under prohibition are clearly still in place after legalization. As Keith Humphreys, professor of psychiatry at Stanford University, pointed it out in his article on the subject, the latest numbers dispel the widely believed hypotheses that making marijuana illegal contributes to racial disparities in arrest rates. At the same time, he continued, racial disparities are imperfect indicators of how a policy affects a member of minority groups. A similar report was published in 2015 by the Drug Policy Alliance. It showed that while arrests for pot possession, cultivation and distribution have dropped by an impressive 95% after Colorado passed Amendment 64, blacks were still twice as likely to be charged with public consumption and more likely to be prosecuted for illegal cultivation and possession of more than the 1 ounce limit. I don't think young blacks or brown people are more likely to flout marijuana laws than white people, Art Way, Colorado director for the Drug Policy Alliance, said in a statement last year. Legalization is no panacea for the long-time issues that law enforcement had with the black and brown community.
The growing of any agricultural crop, whether it be marijuana or any other agricultural crop that causes the destruction of the forest, is deemed illegal in our protected forest areas. When you plant marijuana, you have to cut down forests, and because marijuana cultivation is illegal, the persons who grow marijuana tends to go to very remote and secluded areas, but those are areas on an island such as St. Vincent where over 60% of our land is steep slopes of over 30 degree slope. The growing of marijuana in these areas is very destructive once you remove the protective forest cover, which exposes the young fragile soils, the volcanic soils we have, destroying the integrity of the soils, particularly the humus or organic matter that holds the soils together, because you actually break those fragile soils to cultivate the marijuana. This makes them vulnerable to erosion. Also, some persons may say, well, it's a tree crop or a shrub crop that's supposed to hold the soil, but it's also a monocrop, and monocrops are not suitable in our tropical forest in terms of the diversity. So you have that impact also, and in terms of the marijuana crop cannot replace the functions of the forest, particularly in terms of soil and water conservation. Our forests in our islands in the upper watershed are very important for the hydrological cycle in terms of ensuring that the streams remain flowing through the rain and through the dry season. Also, in terms of the storage capacity of the soils is enhanced with the forest. But when you remove that forest, you remove the integrity of the soils and the water holding capacity of the soils. So in terms of these going into these mountainous areas to grow marijuana is very destructive. And the other thing, because they're illegal, you don't have the agronomic practices that are usually carried out on regular crops in terms of the measures of tillage to conserve the soil, using banks, using terraces, using contour drains and contour plowing to hold, which helps to reduce soil conservation. These practices are usually not carried out in marijuana cultivation because some of the persons growing it are not really farmers, traditional farmers, but they're just persons taking an opportunity to get a quick financial return.
Ganja Talk, the radio program that reasons about ganja like no one else does.
Because of the smallness of the country, I think marijuana has influenced the economic, or does influence the economic lives of more families per capita than any other country in the world, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Almost every family member in SVG probably, and more than likely, has a relative who is either involved in the trade in terms of farming, trading, transportation, or in some way benefiting economically from the trade and growing of marijuana. St. Vincent is also one of the places where it was the first country, or one of the first countries in the world, to actually have a marijuana growers association.
Expanding your mind. We're talking ganja.
All right. According to Conley Rose, who is the communications director for the National Marijuana Industry Association of SVG, the prices of marijuana is as follows. It depends obviously on the grade, between $400 to $600 EC dollars. For premium marijuana, which is grown from overseas seeds, it would be 1,000 EC dollars. Of course, when it gets to Barbados or St. Lucia or Grenada, the prices differ, but it basically, like for example, in Grenada, it's 800 EC dollars. In St. Vincent, according to them, it's between 1,500 and 2,000 Barbadian dollars. One spliff in St. Vincent costs between $2 to $3 EC, and you can get an ounce of marijuana for 60 EC dollars. There's more and more overseas marijuana coming into St. Vincent. That is something relatively new. For example, there's marijuana from Colorado, which costs 1 gram costs 100 EC dollars. There is also several grades from Jamaica, and those usually cost between 800 to 1,000 EC per half pound, according to him. A little bit about the marijuana industry. Marijuana Industry Association. Basically, it is a registered organization between growers, traders, civil society, and others who are interested in marijuana in SVG.
Science, farming, commerce, applications of this miracle plant. Ganja Talk. Yeah, thank you, Candice, for that report. St. Vincent, a serious place, to plant herb. You have to take boat to go to a section of the island that boat don't go to, that road don't run, rather, to really get on top of volcanoes. That's what the man them doing. And as you heard, ecological issues, not just in St. Vincent, but anywhere ganja is grown, it has to be grown responsibly. Persons who are doing so have to ensure that they are not just trying to make a quick profit by raping the soil, but that they're genuinely investing in the ecology as far as their approach is concerned. We want to, at this point, welcome once more. Oh, we're not going to do that yet. What are we doing then? All right, so we'll come back to you.
It's not just gun alone them used to kill INI people, I know if you kill you, man. I'm not saying, you want to kill Jamaica people, send down some poison flour and some poison rice. And the whole of them dead off. Because them love rice and flour. You understand? And they just, so we still have to be careful. INI as Rasta, not all of INI who say Rastafari, who is right to say, a man is not Rasta, but who look like I and say Rasta, we still have to be careful what we do in Babylon. And enough of them that they lit fire upon them, burn this and burn that and burn that. Them drinking white rum. Them drinking Hennessy. Them drinking Heineken. Them drinking, name it. They're alcoholic. So what kind of teaching can you teach this youth now? Because wine, drugs, bad food, wickedest enemy we have as a people. And the man who said Rastafari, Haile Selassie, and find himself in a rum bar drinking alcohol, he's committing suicide. And he's going far from the rules and the laws of His Majesty and what Rastafari said. But who is right to tell him that he is not Rasta? Because if him sign the death on the death roll, fine, you go on. I know the on the death roll. As a man of life, I come to live. That's why I praise a living King.
Come and go. Only hear me. You run at them take me a little bit of ganja. When me fi use one tea for the asthma. The amount of people with that cure. So you think Tony Curtis gets him wine at this? Vibes cartel still a sing about Marie. Since I tell you blaze up the chalwa, nickel button talawa, ganja and banana love off them galley. Long me with them marijuana. If I room weed or marijuana either way, cause me now sell it and you take it when me feel away. Bet you wouldn't do that if you see me with a craving day. Jailhouse them ensure, so me never turn on me yard. Put me for marijuana charge. So to all me love it is crucial, crucial. Hear me, long me with the marijuana officer, long me with the little handful of ganja. I'm me personal use me a carry far. Hear me, officer you treat I from the corner. Took away dry marijuana. Like me up fi get bail fi come and go. Hear me, you and a them acting like them no member. The very last night in December, you're laughing but I make no joke.
Zaga, this is Beanie Man. We're not Stark, but this is about the Ganja Talk. And this is the King of Dancehall representing for Ganja Talk. On my behalf, Ganja is the only talk. Zaga.
Ganja Talk.
Yes, welcome back to Ganja Talk. At this point in time, we bring you our regular community feature. And Rastafari is a potent and powerful community. Our community, global and large. So community for us is not only local, but we're honored this evening to welcome into our studio our first international celebrity, our first international participation, coming by way of Bingy Glen, who has for a number of years spearheaded a project that has really brought strength to the national and international Rastafari community. I want to talk to him briefly about some of that work that he's been doing. Bingy Glen, welcome to Ganja Talk.
Thank you, my brother. And I want to say royal greetings to everyone out there. In the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie first, and I, God and King, with no apology. First of all, I feel very honored and to be a part of this 50th commemoration of His Majesty's trip to the Caribbean, because it is very symbolic for many different reasons. Prior to April 21st, 1966, the world did not really know about Rastafari. As a matter of fact, even the powers that be in Jamaica did not recognize that Rastafari was, the numbers were so large. And that was a turning point for the movement, because from that moment, this liberty, the culture does start spread across the whole globe like a wildfire. So it's very important. Yes, sir.
My brother, give thanks. You've been overseas, Jamaican yardman in Booyak, as I think you kind of describe it. And I know that you are intimately connected to the Jamaican American diaspora, Rastafari, but also the local national Jamaican community. I want to bring us to the platform you've created by way of Tron. Briefly to say, what was the motivation for starting that, and what has it been able to manifest through its work?
Yes, Bertrand. Well, and I have been for years been active in the Rastafari community in New York, dating back to actually 1976, However, we had a unique opportunity in the winter of 2011 when IDOR, another organization that the IDM should most likely be aware of, through the vision of one, the Jasmus Kwasi, who saw the potential of a platform such as that to address certain economic issues for the Rasta community.
Describe what the platform is. We're using platform like says a stage. Tell us how the stage that is vertical.
All right, so the stage is a teleconference platform.
Okay.
And how that works, there's a central number that everyone calls into, and then they're asked for a password to get in. And it can accommodate, probably in the hundreds of people. Okay. There are challenges involved, but the first time we were introduced to it was when one of our ancients who came on that first Nyabingi
Mission,
the first mission, which was in 1988, 89, and that was when the first Bingi House was established in Old York, and I was there as one of the 7 original virgins who started and helped to establish that house. Well, one of the ancients who came on that trad Mama Bubbles, unfortunately came down with some unfortunate situation. She lost her place of residence in the winter of 2011. So we asked IDOR if they could accommodate what was in the embryonic stage of what is now Tron Global, concerned families, as we call ourselves, concerned families of Rastafari. And we asked for the opportunity to use that platform to see what we can do to help Mama Bubbles. We were able to set up a PayPal sort of account, and donations came in from all over the globe. And out of those donations, we were able to establish a bank account, and in a following proper protocol, disseminated the funds where she needed it. Then, unfortunately, she came down with breast cancer, which is something that was in remission, but it came back with a vengeance. And again, we generated more funds through pledges and helped her with her co-pays for doctor's visits, medications. Brothers and sisters from the community volunteered, transportation, and those who had the human resources to, as nurses and so forth, stepped up and gave her a strength. And she fought that battle for a while, which finally she lost. And then when she lost that battle, her family, who lives in Jamaica, did not have what it took to get her remains forward to Jamaica. Again, Tron came together, collected pledges, and brothers and sisters, I should say sisters, prepared her structure, which was at that time unheard of, that ones would even take on
handle the body
and and they prepared her, and the funds was used to ship her structure back to Jamaica. What was left was sent down for the final rites.
Well, you've raised a whole heap in that little synopsis. The issue of the welfare within the community and who is responsible for that, and how it is initiatives such as Tron responds to that, but somewhat in an ad hoc way. It's not systematic.
Exactly.
And then you also raise the challenge within our community generally in facing health and death as issues that need to be managed, especially when they're going a certain direction.
It's a cycle of life, my brother.
Yeah.
And it's just a part of the evolution of what was a movement.
We started as fireburning, the possibility
now it's
of
nation
dropping
building.
flesh. Yeah.
And so it's important. And I remember losing some of my ancients as time went by, and heard stories like, well, the structure was left for ballad people to deal with it. And I was like, I can't believe it. Some elder like Bongo Bigger, see, and for years to the man, them, everybody just turned them back on some ballad people who scorn Rasta. And it seemed almost inhuman to I, And so it was really a landmark move when I and I were able to can step up and say, let's deal with this. So yeah, those were important changes.
So, in a sense then, especially in locations like America, United States, you're in New York and your conference connects people across the United States and beyond. You all are using this to stem the distance. Just in closing off, give us a sense of what you assess the value contribution potential of this kind of new media. Well, this is not quite the new media we're talking about, but this different media,
Yeah, well,
within Rastafari, especially.
And I came to realize that in this day and age, the social media, the communication, that we can bridge barriers and man-made limitations and so forth to reason together and to come up with solutions to problems. So what happened is that I and I eventually, recognizing the potential, we said, if we could just gather pledges together in an emergency type situation, saying, what if we were to organize ourselves and be prepared for any eventualities? You understand me? And so that is where Tron Global took a different turn. So by 2013, we recognized that most of the ones were from the Nyabingi family that were gathering on the phone lines globally. And so it was decided during that time by taking a consensus that the conference call would now focus on our Nyabingi house and getting our house in order. So from that time till now, Tron's vision, mission is to fulfill the creed. The hungry be fed, naked clothed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, and the infants cared for. And so I and I are at the point now where we now have to look at whatever economic opportunities are there that we can be prepared for. So when things come, and it's not just Nyabingi Rasta we are dealing with, any Rasta that can really, state their case, we have a committee who will go through it and case by case decide what we can and cannot do for each individual situation.
Tell us, just in closing, how it is that we can be a part of this. What are the numbers? And you mentioned if you don't have them, we can supply them later on. But while you search for that, give us an idea as to how the community in New York survive herb-wise. It's not the same as in Jamaica. Are there more liberal approaches now in that side? New York in particular, I'm thinking, and Rastafari experience just.
Yeah. It's still a struggle, my brother. We're very encouraged by what we hear taking place in Jamaica. We always see Jamaica as the parent house, and advancements here will eventually, help to make it easier in other places. We start to look forward to hearing that all the other islands really start coming together, and that it can be addressed by that in that manner. Now, as far as in New York, the laws allow you, a small amount, But I think that even in Jamaica, I would like to see my brothers and sisters really and truly I say right now, we don't just want that. You understand me? There is a lot of economic opportunities involved. And so we need to get all our human resources in place. We have to have all our academics, the ones who are the grassroots people who have been on the ground, coming together and working together, see, and come up with a model that can get replicated in different places. Once we're organized, trust me, all the walls are going to break down.
Seeing, well, give thanks for that. We're going to have to wrap up with this now, but I know you're here to do some serious work among the Nyabingi and extended family, and we want to wish you all the best with that, and those coming in as a part of your New York delegation or your American delegation.
Yes, global delegation.
Global,
and I do give thanks, my brother, Ras Jalani. Good work. Keep up the good work, my brother, and we look forward to continue to network and, you know.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Blessed love.
Pure love, my brother.
Give thanks, family. Rastafari.
Well, thank you, Bingy Glenn Porter, you know, one of the young ancients from New York, so to speak, making his erstwhile contribution to the present Golden Jubilee. For past shows of Ganja Talk, this is our 4th program, so there are 3 and now 4 with this one. You can go to AfricanHeritage.com. That's African with a K, because you know, say the Pan-African intention is not that C, but the character of the K. Once you see that, you know our politics. So it's AFRIKAN heritage.com, and you can click on the Ganja Talk logo, the same as the ones that we have on the t-shirts that you're going to be so interested in order to hear our past programs. You can reach us on our text line, which is 899-7657, and we'll be glad to share and input what you are seeking via that means. We're continuing with Ganja Talk and listening more about our peoples all around the Caribbean. Ganja Index from St. Vincent now comes up.
I don't smoke cigarettes, cause it will stop I breath. Yes, yeah. I don't sniff coke, cause it will make I choke. All I smoke is the real cushion pain. Cushion pain make I count from 1 till 10. Pass the cushion pain, pass it over. Boy, so pass the cushion pain, pass it over. Oh, I went on the cover just to find my lover. In the kitchen she frying chicken. Meanwhile me have my cushion pain. So pass the cushion pain, pass it over. Oh yeah, pass the cushion pain, pass it over. See, in the town it's $1 a stick. In the country it's 50 cents. Me and the brethren sit down on that tree, roll to spliff and eat some food. Pass the cushion pain, pass it over. One day, pass the cushion pain, pass it over. See, oh wait, oh wait. See, Canadian people have to smoke cushion pain. When them smoke cushion pain, them have to smoke it again. The London people have to smoke cushion pain. When them smoke cushion pain, them have to smoke it again. So pass the cushion pain, pass it over. Whoa, see, pass the cushion pain, pass it over.
Cushion pain. It's a kaya pulsation, vibrating your soul, unlocking your wizzy. Seen eye.
Ganja Talk. Ganja Fact.
Tafari was a progressive administrator whose policies increased the power of the central government at the expense of the feudal nobility. He developed a salaried civil service, lowered taxes, and created a court system that extended legal rights to the peasantry. Promoted to a larger province in 1908, 2 years later, he was made governor of Hara, just like his father before him. And in 1911, he married Wazero Menin, a great-granddaughter of Menelik. During the course of their marriage, they had 6 children, and they remained together until her death in 1961.
Ganja Fact. Yeah, we give thanks, Daniel. We're coming up with medicinal facts now, but we want to make you know all ganja is medicinal in some shape or form. Big up to Profi. Sikin is a chicken, and we're not talking that. We're talking ganja.
The University of the West Indies, Mona, is growing specific strains of marijuana in an attempt to identify the DNA profiles of the plants. The initiative will provide cannabis plants which can then be tested to determine how the different strains interact with the human body, identify best practices for growing marijuana, as well as develop products which may be used in the treatment of various illnesses and diseases. This is one of the main outcomes which followed the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding last July between the UWI-Mona and a US-based company, Sativa Jamaica LLC. The MOU was signed by Professor Archibald MacDonald, Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the UWI-Mona campus, and CEO and founder of Sativa Jamaica LLC, Mr. Josh Stanley, one of the largest marijuana growers and dispensary owners in Colorado, USA. The purpose of the MOU is to define the specific areas for fundamental academic research and collaboration between the UWI-Mona and Sativa Jamaica LLC, which will result in the development of the medical cannabis industry in Jamaica and internationally. The aim is to identify the biological and chemical properties of the medical cannabis, or medical marijuana, with a view to determining how the plant works to treat disease or alleviate the symptoms of disease. In this regard, the UWI-Mona utilizes its capabilities in analytical, botanical chemistry, and biological areas for small-scale, controlled research growth, focusing on all aspects of the strain, including growing conditions and DNA sequencing. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Professor MacDonald stated that this was an important step for the university since it followed on the granting of a license to the institution to grow marijuana for research purposes. He noted that the UWI-Mona had always taken a lead role in marijuana research, pointing to the development of the drug Canasol, used in the treatment of glaucoma, and Asmasol, used for treating asthma, both of which had been developed within the Department of Pharmacology at Mona. The principal added that this latest step would have a significant impact on the economy as it would result in the creation of significant employment opportunities across the island. In response, Mr. Stanley indicated that his company was seeking to provide cutting-edge cannabinoid-based products and to establish programs to target illnesses and diseases, including childhood epilepsy, cancer, central nervous system disorders, and other ailments. He remarked that marijuana-derived medication had already showed tremendous potential in the treatment of these illnesses. However, long-term studies were necessary in order to determine the efficacy of the products. He said that the UWI-Mona would facilitate the necessary research.
Let's focus our discussion first on marijuana, okay? Marijuana has a very distinct smell, okay? I'm going to pass around just a little tiny bit, and I want you all to take a smell so you know when someone is smoking marijuana near you.
up on about 2 feet long. Don't have to hit it twice and you still feel nice.
Ganja Fact.
On June.
Yes, we're listening to Ganja Talk on 93 News Talk FM. We're dealing with facts, not fiction.
It's up real nice, but Lord, I hate about
June 30th, 1936, a short, seemingly frail man, wrapped in a long black coat, addressed the League of Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. He was striking with chiseled features, brown skin, a curly black beard, and dark, deep-set, penetrating eyes. His rigid bearing and dignity, almost as much as his impassioned words, captured the attention of the assembled delegates. Haile Selassie, exiled emperor of Ethiopia, denounced the then recent invasion and conquest of his country by Italy, a precursor of the continued aggression that would lead to World War II. He demanded the League take concerted action against the Italians, warning, "It is a question of collective security, of the very existence of the League, of the trust placed by states in international treaties. It is international morality that is at stake." He prophetically stated, "It is us today, it will be you tomorrow."
Ganja Fact.
Looking for some real soldiers who not give up, yeah. Looking for some real soldiers to link up. Looking for some real soldiers who not give up. Sometimes I sit and I wonder how I'm gonna talk to my father about the evils of mankind. Got the love on my mind. It's killing all the time and murder every day. What you gonna say when it's judgment day? Yeah. Looking for some real soldiers. Killing God. Looking for some real.
Yeah, you're listening to Ganja Talk on News Talk 93. We want to give you the Tron Global platform telephone number for those of you anywhere in the world who wish to participate on that call, which happens on a Sunday. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. to midday Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time. The number for that platform is 641-715-3655. That's 641-715-3655, and access code which you will need is 961635 for that. We're listening to Ganja Talk. Enough things. University is trying to position itself in a way to become a global leader in an industry which it had long been a pioneer in. It's 40 years ago, University of West Indies started not just research but byproducts, and has been in collaboration with many research centers. You know, we're seeing now that Sativa and others are seeking to collaborate with the University of West Indies on a range of projects. I don't know, the look is good if we ensure that our peoples are not disadvantaged as we seek to progressively move forward in this industry. Ganja Talk. Ganja Fact.
Emperor Haile Selassie I was the first Ethiopian emperor to write a constitution and put it into function from his own initiative in 1931.
Ganja Fact.
Boy, she's really friendly. wildest chick in town. She blows her gauge, flies in a rage, sweet marijuana brown. In her victory garden, the seeds grow all around. She plants, you dig, she's flipped her wig, sweet marijuana brown. She don't know where she's going, she don't care where she's been, but every time you take her out, she's bound to take you in. Boy, that gal needs trouble, you ought to put her down. Get hip, take care, look out, beware of sweet marijuana brown.
This island nation is a place where, along with the reggae and calypso music, marijuana, or ganja as it's called here, has long been part of the culture. But perhaps surprisingly, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, like all its Caribbean neighbours, has very clear laws prohibiting the possession and production of the drug. That may be about to change. Ralph Gonsalves, the leftist Prime Minister who's governed here for the last 13 years, thinks his country's drug policy needs to move with the times.
Look, a guy who has a somebody, a young person, anybody, who has a spliff, why are you going to lock up a fella for a half an ounce of marijuana? He smokes it behind his grandmother's house. He doesn't pass in front of the police station with the spliff in his mouth and shouting to the police, "Hey there, Babylon, look at I man." He's not in contumacious disregard of the law. Why are you going to lock him up?
At the behest of the WTO and spearheaded by the banana multinational corporations, a gradual elimination of the protected banana trade with the United Kingdom began, as it contradicted with the assumptions of neoliberal economic theory. These reforms would lead to numerous negative and widespread impacts on rural communities, such as an increase in unemployment, poverty, crime, and a dramatic cutback in government programs and services. Given that there were no readily apparent jobs to replace those lost in the banana industry, a great deal of farmers took their skills, knowledge, and cutlasses to the hills. 20 years after this economic shock, based on its size, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is one of the largest, if not the largest, per capita cultivator and exporter of ganja in the world. During research on the island studying the ganja trade, farmers, activists, and smugglers provided credible insight into St. Vincent's real, albeit illicit, economic engine. Presently in the Caribbean, ganja is not legally recognized for its medicinal purposes. In March 2014, the heads of government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, established a regional commission concerning marijuana use, with the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, acting as the chair. The two primary focuses of the Regional Commission are concerned with the medicinal use of ganja and the decriminalization of small quantities involved in recreational use. A July 2014 communique from the CARICOM conference in Antigua put forward that the heads of government agreed to establish a regional commission on marijuana to conduct a vigorous and rigorous inquiry into the social, economic, health, and legal issues surrounding marijuana use in the region, and to advise whether there should be a change in the current drug classification of marijuana, thereby making the drug more accessible for a range of users. Since then, not much else has been released to the public, as a search of CARICOM internet archives and requests for updated information have not yet produced any new information on the progress of the initiative. Despite this, Prime Minister Gonsalves has tried to deflect criticism that the Commission would be an asset to his election drive, stating that regardless of the politicization of the situation, I'm hoping that we can take more than baby steps in addressing the issues. Seeking to avoid the politicization of the issue, Conley Shingvango Rose, the coordinator of the National Marijuana Industry Association, NMIA, of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is working to get a medicinal marijuana institute built in St. Vincent due to its position as a leading cultivator in the Eastern Caribbean. Rose has said that roughly 40% of the population are connected to the industry either directly or by accommodating it, and that an estimate that ganja contributes 30% to the GDP is quite conservative. Rose argues that the Caribbean must abandon current laws, which are based on inherited colonial legislation, and calls for a major reform of the region's ganja laws, arguing that they are based on science, compassion, and reason. The NMIA of St. Vincent and the Grenadines states that in its charter that medicinal and recreational ganja sales in St. Vincent and the Grenadines could generate extra revenues and taxes for the government in licenses, fees, sales taxes, value-added taxes, excise taxes, and so on. Government and the people would benefit tremendously from this lucrative industry.
There are 20 states in the US of A with medical marijuana, with controlled growing. Now it's going to expand. That's 20 states out of 50. That is 40% of the great US of A. And the federal government is not enforcing federal law in those states in relation to marijuana. They respect the local decision of the people. Are we going to wait in the region until the horse has bolted, when we will import from the United States marijuana for medical purposes? Or are we going to look at it and see whether we can build an industry out of it?
St. Vincent is in fact already a significant exporter of marijuana, but it's not grown legally. It's produced in hidden fields here in the north of the island. We got in touch with two sisters who have their own ganja farm. It's a long hike up the hill. Too far, it seems, for the local authorities to make much effort to impose the law. These women asked that we did not hide their identities, and they say they feel all this would be better if it were legal.
It's a good idea because actually we could be more motivated with the ganja, marketing more, other people get to see what we cultivate.
What about the people who say it's bad for you, that this is a drug that's bad for society and bad for people? What do you think?
Well, I don't think it's bad because I've been using it for how many years now as a medicine, and I think it's good for my health, but sometimes you can't overdo it.
Who do you sell the marijuana to?
Well, actually, it's people come from abroad and they buy it, and we market it out.
And does the police ever come and say, look, you can't grow this? Is there any...
Well, that's why we hide out like this. That's why we hide out from the police them. Because me not say police, me call them beasts.
Beasts?
Yeah, I call them beasts, the bloodsuckers, because the minute them see you plant this, they will ready to hunt you down and they will charge you a lot for it. So you have to hide up yourself. If you notice, there is a lot of trees.
You can't see.
You cannot see this side. So you have to come all the way up to the top.
And do you make good money out of this? Have you...
If we have produced it good, yes, we have good money good money with it. But
same
sometimes...
Same like any other production, you plant, and sometimes good and sometimes bad. So when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. But even when it's bad, we still feel good.
I took a split this morning.
Yes, Jelani and I are with you in our final moments of what is another edition of Ganja Talk, our fourth program. We've had a number of differences this evening, giving thanks for Bingy Glenn's coming in to share a little about what he's doing. And we've also, this evening, brought you our competitor, so to speak, St. Vincent in great detail, with Ralph Gonzalez telling us that it's rubbish if we're going to be left now to have to import ganja when we are the bedrock of ganja. Much to give thanks for in this program. But before we completely close out, we can't leave without providing some tips for those persons who are going to take up my suggestion. Well, it's really Queen Mother Moses' suggestion that I'm expanding to I in general across the earth. Let us plant ganja on Earth Day, Friday, the 22nd of April. Let us plant our 5 plants here in Jamaica. And others might wish to take a chance wherever they are, depending on what your laws are. The female plant is what we're interested in. So our farm tip today tells you a little about the female. The female ganja plant is much like females, I should say. Beautiful to behold and aesthetically wonderful. They are gendered just like male and female human beings, meaning that the female plant has to receive pollination. She has to get some sort of fertilization from the male. And once she gets that, she produces what is the ganja food, which is the seed. We want the flowers. So ideally, we want to be able to remove the male before he gives her seed to bring forth food. We want virgin female plants with full and luscious buds, and once they're pollinated, that potential for the buds go. How do you know the female? The female has what they describe as 2 white hairs along its stem. And these white hairs are like, I don't want to say what I want to say, but they are like legs which hold on to the seed that comes into it. So you don't want your female receiving seeds through these legs that she has on her stems. You want to remove the potential of that by ensuring you get the male plants early. Now, how you know? The male and female ganja plants are somewhat different from human beings. The male mature before the female, which is the good thing. So you have an option of seeing them by virtue of their characteristics. They are more upright, generally, and sometimes start flowering, and those flowers are what carry the sac that gives seed to the female. So I don't know if you get the gist, you know, little white hairs on the side, females, more luscious and full plants, females. Male, more upright, erect with flowering aspects. You want to remove those. Those start to flower between 1 to 4 weeks prior to the female. So the male mature early, give you a chance to weed it out, which is our objective. We want to give thanks for all those who contributed to Ganja Talk this evening. The usual crew, Trajine, Simba, and the others who know themselves. Amen. As usual, we couldn't do this without you. One of our key vocal commands, Tony Ann and Leah, operating across the region. Give thanks for that professionalism you've been able to bring to us. Sean, this is your engineering, so we give thanks for your consistent work at the archive supporting our project. Africa Heritage Foundation, big up yourself, Barbadian Ones. All of those who joined us. This is a Dapper production in association with the Office of the Principal. Ganja Talk, Jalani Naya signing out. Perfect love.
News Talk 93 FM. Real